Hi, it's Bill here. I'd like to talk about pawn against king. I've added the white king just to make it a legal position, but it won't take part in the ensuing battle. Okay, now an important concept relating to pawn against king is the square of the pawn. A simple way to visualize the square is to look at the pawn, make a diagonal line towards the defending king, and hitting the back rank. This square, E8 and A4, form two corners of the square. The other corners are E4 and A8. If the defending king can get into the square, they'll catch the pawn. If they can't get inside the square, they will not catch the pawn. Say, for example, it's white's move. The pawn will move forward. Now the square has become smaller. The king moves, but can't quite reach the square. The pawn moves forward again. The king moves again, and can't quite reach this smaller 3x3 square. The pawn moves again. The king can't catch the pawn, and the pawn will promote. So, if we back up, and say white, for example, does a random king move, which doesn't help him. This is just to illustrate how black can now catch the pawn. So the king can now get inside the square. So the king goes to E4. The pawn moves forward, making a new 4x4 square. The king gets inside the square. The pawn moves forward. The king gets inside the smaller 3x3 square. And the pawn moves forward. And the king gets into the 2x2 square and catches the pawn. There is something important to note when working out the square of the pawn. There is a special case when a pawn is on the second rank. This is because of the double pawn move. When the pawn moves two squares, it will move faster than the king. So in this position, with white to move, if we create the square, it goes to G8, G2, A2, A8. The black king is in the square, but won't be able to catch the pawn because of the double pawn move. So the pawn moves forward, the king moves, and it has not been able to get inside the new 4x4 square. The pawn advances, and the king is unable to get in the square. So when working out the square of the pawn, you do need to take into account if a pawn is on the second rank. Okay, thank you for watching.